In this video, we'll discuss the 3 use cases for AI that manufacturers can use to save millions of dollars per year. Just between these simple use cases, manufacturers can add 5 to 10% more revenue to their bottom line. Hi, my name is Patrick Byrne. If you're not familiar with me, I've helped manufacturers identify over $100 million in savings or annual profit using AI and data. My mission is to help manufacturers increase their profits and provide more value to their customers using AI. The use cases for AI we're going to touch on in this video are quite simple, but they can save millions of dollars per year for manufacturers. The 3 of these applications are searching for information, so knowledge retrieval in your company, data visibility, so having access to dashboards and reports, and then process automation, so reducing the manual work that goes along with entering data, creating quotes, generating spare parts lists, lots of other things like that. So straight into knowledge retrieval. 2 to 3 hours per day is the average amount of time that people spend searching for information in all companies. And it's probably more in manufacturing companies, but I don't have any data to support that. The reason for this is manufacturers have information spread across multiple different systems. So your ERP system, your customer service software, your CRM, your SharePoint, your Outlook, more and more and more options depending on what your company uses. There could be things like Trello or Confluence or whatever it might be. But essentially, the solution to this is to centralize that information into an AI-powered knowledge retrieval system, which helps you find the information by just asking a question. Finding information can take a lot of time, as we see, but you can reduce that by 80 to 90% at least by putting all of that information into a centralized knowledge base and having AI search for it for you. One of my favorite things about these systems is they reduce the amount of times that your top talent get interrupted by other staff members. Every company has that guy who's kind of like your local resident AI who knows everything about the company for the last 30 years, and they always get interrupted. They always get bugged by your other teammates. And that person is probably one of your most valuable employees. And this is likely a waste of their time because think of how much more work they could get done if they weren't getting interrupted all the time. Another reason you will want to do something like this is it helps to safeguard company knowledge in the case that someone like that really valuable employee either retires or leaves and goes somewhere else. Imagine your most valuable employee who knows everything about the business just left one day and all of a sudden you're thinking, oh no, we don't know if we have any information on any of these things. Everyone's work stops, and I can see it falling apart very quickly. So I want to try to quantify the hidden costs of information search because you might just be thinking, it doesn't take that long. I'm just searching and clicking through a few different things. But if you're a 500-person company, every extra minute per day, so average of 1 minute per day across your whole company per employee, is about equivalent to $100,000 per year in time. That is essentially another employee, right? So by saving 1 minute per employee, you're essentially giving yourself an extra employee. And to quantify this and show you a more realistic scenario, 15 minutes of time savings is really, really conservative for a system like this. And if you're a 500-person company, that is $1.5 million in cost impact directly from the time savings. Data visibility, obviously a huge thing for manufacturers. And part of the reason here is they've got so much data. Manufacturers are collecting way more data than most companies, and it's because they've got so many moving parts. The problem with not having good visibility of your data is it makes it really difficult to make good decisions. And the cause of this is, again, you've got ERP systems, project reports, financial systems, CRMs, you've got data spread across all these different systems, and oftentimes they don't integrate with each other. And this is something that can be solved now with AI because it's very easy to build dashboards and reports because connecting to all of these different systems has become a lot easier now that AI is so easy to develop with. And one of the things that we've noticed from our customers is that when they get more information into a more visible setting, like a centralized real-time dashboard across a given department or across a whole company, you get faster decision making, better quality decisions, more time to spend on strategic tasks rather than manual tasks, and the KPIs just get better because when metrics get tracked, they tend to get optimized towards. The hidden costs of poor data visibility are pretty significant, and I've worked with a lot of companies who basically got to the end of year and said, fingers crossed, we might be positive this year. And the reason for that is because they don't have real-time visibility over profitability or anything else in the company, right? The profitability visibility is where a lot of this trickles up towards. You'll start off by tracking individual KPIs, and then that will turn into a more global view of the whole company. So starting on a department level, moving across to the whole company over time. And something that's really significant for a lot of manufacturers at the moment, I'm sure they're all thinking about this with Trump's new tariffs that just came into play, but being able to track your spending with each supplier and use that to negotiate and bring to the supplier information around how much you've bought from them before, how much you're planning to buy from them in the future is really vital for being able to negotiate discounts, especially now when they maybe aren't competing with as many external companies. For example, a US company now may not have to compete with a Canadian or Mexican company, but just in general, being able to go to your suppliers with the real data is only going to help you when it comes to negotiating better prices. Incorrect pricing is something I've seen a lot from manufacturers recently. And what I mean by incorrect pricing is if nothing has really gone wrong over the course of the year and you get to the end of the year and all of a sudden you're losing money, that just means you priced it incorrectly. Like if there's nothing significant you can go back on and say that you did wrong this year, there was no external circumstances that went against you, it's likely that you just didn't adjust your prices correctly. And this is very likely with how much inflation we've had over the last 3 or 4 years. Now looking going forward, the tariff impacts are going to be very difficult to judge right now. It's hard to say exactly what that's going to do. But having visibility of all of these things across your whole business will just make it easier to know whether your prices are fair and then justify them to your customer if they do have any issues with your pricing. Tracking data will just help you understand in advance whether you're going to be profitable on any given year, because if every project and every product is profitable, that will just lead to profitability at the end of the year, right? Now looking at the manual tasks element of this, and the problem that I see quite often here is that really high value talent spends a lot of their time on low level tasks. And low level tasks, I mean, are like data entry, quoting, creating bills of materials, like these kind of like low level repetitive manual tasks. Those sort of things can be automated up to 80 or 90% using AI. And that could mean that you could go 5 to 10 times faster on all of these different things. Just to touch on quoting quickly as well. Think if you could send your quotes to your customer within a few minutes rather than 2 or 3 days later, right? That kind of improvement sets you apart from your competitors. And it's another reason why you might be able to shorten your sales cycle and get those sales closed earlier. Touching on then the value that you get from your employees. If your employees are working on higher value, more strategic tasks, you're getting more value from them than if they were working on any given low level manual task. Working on these more strategic tasks tends to be more impactful and meaningful for these employees as well, which reduces the burnout and increases your retention. And all of those things have significant downstream impacts. Burnout and retention, where we'll start because we were just there. A lot of manufacturing companies, you see a lot of employees working 50 to 70-hour weeks. Project managers, service technicians, they kind of come to mind. And obviously all of the executives and upper level management probably work those kind of hours. This can result in high turnover, and high turnover means you've got all these costs in training and hiring and the reduction in productivity that you get when you remove a highly skilled, highly experienced person and bring in a new staff member. Looking at wasted talent, then we kind of touched on this. If like 40 to 50% of your work is this low level manual stuff, it just means that you're essentially wasting the skills and talents of these people who could be focusing on more strategic work, more creative work, rather than dragging data from one place to another, which could be automated completely with AI. So the last bit then is the data quality issues. And this comes from the fact that when you have people doing these things manually, they may make mistakes, they may forget to do it sometimes. And all of these things, when you've got this kind of global infrastructure of data around your company, it can lead to stockouts, it can lead to delays, it can lead to missed deadlines with your customers. All of these things have downstream profit impacts for your whole business. All of these items that I touched on can have a huge impact on your whole business. I'm not going to go into quantifying the ROIs on all these projects in this video, as I don't want it to be too long, but we will touch on that in a future video. If your manufacturing company is struggling with repetitive tasks, finding information, visibility of data, or if your company is barely profitable or unprofitable, the first link in the description will give you some more information on how we can help solve this for you. We would love to help you find the biggest opportunities in your company to use AI to fix these problems and make more money. And I'm not selling you a course, but it is a sales funnel. So if you have any of these problems, we can absolutely help you, but don't feel any pressure to click on the links. We do have a ton more resources that are free here on YouTube that you can check out instead. And that will be all for this video. Hope you got some value from this one, and I will see you in the next one.